Velites, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. The black man is capable of managing his own affairs. For decades, our leaders sat down in Addis Ababa in the regional blocks to be talking about how Africans must add value to their own resources. We will no longer export our gold in the ruffle. We will not export our raw materials in the ruffle. We must add value. But this is a song we always sing every year. And we are still the same way. But all in all, the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the most loved, General Assimi Goïta has taken a bold step. When he came into office, he made it clear to the Malians, I am here to make sure that our resources benefit us. We will no longer allow people to come into our country to carry the resources while we live in absolute poverty. And he has done absolutely that by making sure he built a gold refinery. It was a promise he made when he came into office that he's going to build a gold refinery to make sure the gold that is in the soil of Mali will be refined. The value will be added before we take it out to go and give it to other people. You know the way they come to Africa to carry the resources, add value, and come back and sell it to us at a very expensive price when we are the ones that are giving them the resources very cheap. The project is going to be built by Russia. Mali owns over 60%. Unlike the way other people would have allowed those in the democratic elected for this thing to be built, and at the end of the day we are getting like 5, 6, 7%, the highest 10, and we will be hailing them and saying how well we have been able to strike a very good deal. This one is not going to be like that. Mali owns over 60%, and this is going to create jobs for the Malians. Is going to make sure that cost of living reduces, because our all in all is saying that his priority is to make sure that the Malians have a better life. And when we are the ones that are doing everything by ourselves, the jobs will come, the resources will benefit us. We will no longer have to be down on the Mediterranean Sea to go to other places to look for a job. At the end of the day, we are only becoming second or modern slaves willingly without them forcing us. This is what we call leadership, and this is what we are crying for our leaders to do. We can't continue to be doing the same things and we expect that Africa will change.
The president of the transition, General Assimi Goïta, is laying the first stone of Mali's new gold refinery this Monday. The facility will have a capacity of 200 tons per year. The Malian state participates in the share capital to the extent of 62%. A result of cooperation between Mali and Russia, the construction of this refinery aims to control gold production and the traceability of artisanal mining. It is also one of the responses to the many wishes of the head of state to his fellow citizens. A reminder is therefore necessary to tell us about this presidential project, and it is with Bumatrao.
In his address to the nation on September 22, 2023, the transitional president announced the project to build a new gold refinery in Mali. A presidential desire stemming from an almost shared observation, namely that the yellow metal does not seem to shine well for Malians. This desire to change things is coupled with the strong expectations of General Assimi Goïta.
The government has worked on the project to create a gold refining plant that will allow us to process minerals before export, thus creating jobs and added value.
What was just a project a few months ago is becoming a reality. The Council of Ministers on May 28, 2025 adopted a draft decree setting the terms of the state's participation in the share capital of the Mali Gold Refinery Company. The construction of this national refinery will allow for the control of gold production and the traceability of artisanal mining to maintain added value in Mali. To achieve this, the state has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Russian company Fadran. The transitional president is laying the first stone of the infrastructure this Monday, another step forward in harnessing Mali's immense mining potential.
Our country will channel the revenues it is entitled to expect from mining operations and at the same time develop the industrial and commercial fabric as well as various infrastructures at the local and national levels.
The new gold refinery in Mali will have a capacity of 200 tons per year. The state will hold a 62% stake in the share capital. The infrastructure, Timshe, Impachi, Nyansen, Nusashat, which will emerge from the ground in a few months, should reassure Mali in its march towards economic sovereignty.
And we are in the environmental fortnight, and the issue of plastic use arises acutely, especially those that are non-biodegradable. Sectors in environmental protection are gathered at the IDD to discuss ways and means of enforcing protection against plastic waste in our country. For your information, our government has instituted a law prohibiting the use of plastic waste. However, this law is struggling to be enforced, and the consequences are felt on our environment in general and on watercourses in particular.
If we truly want Africa to become a better place, if we want Africa to change, then we have to take practical steps in doing that. We are seeing that Mali is nationalizing their gold, Burkina Faso is doing same, Niger is doing same, making sure that everything that other people have control over is given to us. We saw Mali taking back everything from other people, making sure that whatever that is on the soil of Mali, the people take control over it. If we don't control the resources that are in our soil, how then do we expect the continent to move forward? How then do we expect a better life? These are the systems that Africans need to fight and break away from, rather than fighting among ourselves, blaming each other. Is because these people have crossed into our land. That is why we are having problems. Who is a foreigner in Africa? If you are called foreigners outside of your continent, and then you come back into your continent and call yourself foreigners, then how then do you expect people to respect you, a black person? We need to wake up. What we need is good leadership, like the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are doing. Other countries, we always hear, we are doing this, we want to do this. Our leaders in the democratic elected always want to. Like there was somebody who said, when it comes to politicians, everything is in the pipeline. That is the language they always use. So we need to make sure the resources that we have here benefit us. We can say we are looking for economic freedom when we are not fighting to nationalize the resources that are on our soil. How do we export cocoa and then import chocolate, which we cannot afford? And we call ourselves sovereign people. We are striking deals that are giving other people the upper hand over our resources. This is what the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are breaking away from. Not because they love to be called presidents like the other ones in the democratic elected, no, but because they have seen that this is the problem. Africans, our leaders, know the problem. Not that they don't know, they know the problem. Because when you listen to the summit speeches that they give us, they know the problem. But the steps, like one time they interviewed Tinubu, and Tinubu was giving out, Africans must create a platform, we must do this so that we'll do that and that and that, we should trade. The moment they asked Tinubu to start it, we saw that Tinubu's reaction, everything changed. That me? But you are the one who brought the suggestion. Why not start it? Because we are the giant of Africa, so that other African nations will join. So when it comes to our leaders, it is that they want to talk about the problem, give us the solution in speech. Taking the necessary steps to cause a change has been the problem of Africa. But how do we also move forward when we are not controlling anything in Africa? So the most important thing as Africans is to fight for good leadership so that they will be ready to break away from all these chains that we are in. Until we do that, the African will never move forward. This is why we love the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, because for decades, the African has been kept in that angle where our resources are used to empower other nations while we remain poor. Like there was one video I showed you about the Frenchman who was talking about how they watch South Korea to develop. So if they also allow Africa to develop, it will be a problem because their industries will collapse. And for that matter, they need to make sure that they put in these systematic measures to continue to keep Africa where it is, so they can continue to be getting the cheap resources to develop themselves. And will the African continue to be talking about solving our problems in speech? Pan-Africanism is not about how you boast what you say. It's about how you are ready to break away from this influence. And we see the leaders singing Pan-Africanism, still shaking hands. And like Thomas Sankara said, any leader in Africa, you see these people dining and shaking hands with, praising that person, you should know that that person has finished you. But a lot of us, the youth, haven't realized this. Whenever they praise a leader in Africa, we tend to see that to be something beautiful. And when we are even saying things, we say, oh, even this is praise this leader. Even that should tell you that that leader is not for you. Why are they not praising the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso for the good things that they are doing? Because it doesn't favor them. These ones are allowing them to carry the resources, so they will always praise them. That was why Thomas Sankara warned us in Africa to be very vigilant. This is a brave move so that we add value to the resources that we have. This is the only way we can generate the income and change the narrative in Africa. Not by summits, not by inviting them to come and talk about anything, not by aid, not by us receiving anything from them. Just taking total control over our resources changes the game. That is the game changer. Not for us to continue to be giving our cow to people, yet when we finish, you go and beg for a glass of milk. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.